In your reserves, you will find these sheets. It's the blue with white polka dots and the pink with white polka dots. I'm going to double mine up. Measure over 4 3/4 of an inch and cut. The larger pieces go back in our reserves. This is very simple. All we are going to do is center this. You'll have a nice white border around. And we're going to glue that right on down. So let's do that. Okay, we have these glued down. Let's open them up. In your reserves for It's a Boy, you should have this with the birds. And on the other side is the dark. And that is what we are going to get at. And it's the girl. You have this sheet, and we are going for this side. So I am going to place these two together. They are the same cut. Measure over 4 3/4 of an inch and cut. Okay, we have our two pieces here. Whoops. We're going to do the same thing we just did. Measure over 4 3/4 of an inch and cut. Let's stick these in our reserves, the small pieces. All right, so if you notice, they're going to be a little bit long here. So we need to cut these down. Now I'm going to turn mine like this. I'm going to actually get mine all together here. Measure over 6 1/2 inches and cut. Let's make sure that our pieces fit. And they definitely do, giving us a white border, nice white border. Let's go ahead and make a pocket for these. And I'm going to put this up here. Don't glue these down yet. In your reserves, you should find another white piece of cardstock that is 8 1/2 inches wide by 3 3/4 this way. In the the Ornate Borders and Pockets die, we're going to grab the top one. So here's the top bracket, and I'm just going to place this so it's even this way and from here to here. And then I am going to use this one. I still have to clean mine out. And we're going to go ahead and run this through the die cutter. And then we'll do what we've done before, is cut in from the sides so that it is straight. Those of you that are using the Martha Stewart punches, you will want to use a deep edge punch for this and just punch along the long side. Okay, let's go ahead and grab one of our pieces here. We are going to need our score tape. We're going to run a piece of score tape at the bottom of one of the It's a Boy ones, and of course one of the It's a Girl. And we're going to remove the backing and try to center this as best we can. Wrap our flaps, and we're going to tack them down. And I'm going to do that with this one as well. In your reserves, you should find these pieces. They're small. They're about 3 inches this way, so that we all can make sure that we fit. Some of us aren't using this deep of a border or whatnot. Just lay your piece right on down underneath your trim. Make sure that you can still see how far over. Make a mark on how you're going to trim it this way, and then you'll want to come over to the side to where you can still see some of the white cardstock over here where the bottom is, and you will make a mark with your pencil this way. So the first cut I'm going to make is actually, I'm going to cut from here that way, then I'll come and cut this way. So let's go ahead and get these ready. Put your scrap pieces in your reserves. Let's go ahead, add glue And when adding glue to this, if you're using the art glitter glue, you'll definitely want that metal tip. You don't need a whole lot of this with the paper. And you're just going to go along the edge. And that's all you really need. And then we'll mount that. Just make sure you press down everywhere. Okay, we're going to go ahead and apply glue to the back of the pocket panel piece here. And center it in there, making sure we are clear of our inner score and that it looks semi-straight. We'll go ahead and glue the second one on too, the matching. And I'm going to try to line this up the top with the other one. Trying to keep this as straight. I'm in an awkward position, the camera over my head here. Okay, so I'm going to finish up by doing this for the It's a Boy as well. Okay, got mine down. I'm just going to fold over my page now so I can get to the last one here. In your reserves, you will find this sheet if you're working with the It's a Girl or the It's a Boy. I'm going to double these up. The cuts are the same, so this is what I'm doing here. Measure over 6 3/4 inches and cut. Okay, the smaller pieces, they go in our reserves. Okay, now I've got my pieces like this. Measure over 5 inches and cut. The small pieces go in our reserves. Let's go ahead and glue these down to the back. Okay, so we should be done with this inner part. We're going to set that aside because we need to grab, whoops, shame on me, getting these mixed up. Go ahead and grab the one with the larger spine. And this is where you are going to need a craft knife, a ruler, and a pencil. So I'm going to show you on this one how to do this. Go ahead and lay yours out flat so yours is looking like this. Place your ruler down and bring the edge all the way to that inner score line here. You will have 5 1/4 inches across. At the 1 inch mark, I want you to make a pencil mark. Okay. And then over here at 4 1/4, you're going to make a pencil mark. Okay. We're going to move this down so that we still show the 5 1/4. At 4 1/4, we're going to make another line, and at 1 inch, we're going to make a line. We're going to move it up here, and these are light lines. Remember to keep your ruler all the way over to that inner score. We'll just make a little one here and here. Now, from the top, you're going to measure from the top down 1 inch, make a mark. We're going to do that over here too. Down here, we're going to do the same thing. From 1 inch up, make a mark. 1 inch, make a mark. What we're doing is we are going to use our pencil now. We're going to put our ruler down, and we are going to line it up with those 1 inch in marks, and so that we can keep this straight. And you're going to do lightly. So I'm going to draw it down. Over here, I'm going to do the same thing. Lightly draw down. I'm going to go a little darker so you can see. and then across the bottom. I want to get my lines even there. I think that's it. And then here. And then you can always connect. Okay, so what you should have is a square. This is where you need to open this up, make sure it's open. You're going to want to replace your blade, put a new blade in your craft knife, and this is where we cut. So I'm going to place this little pad under here. If you have a metal ruler to help keep you straight, that is always helpful. I'm just going to go for it. Careful and slow. And I go slow because I will go outside that line and I don't want to mess mine up. So I am going to, this is really thick, so I've got through it some. I'm just going to retrace my lines. I can now fill that cutting pad underneath. So this should come out nice. Don't pull. If it does not let go, you know that you need to put your knife back down and clean. So now this should lift up, and it does. I'm still a little stuck over here, so that tells me just run my blade until that's going to release. And there we go. Once you've got yours out, you can just stick these off to the side. Put them in your reserve for now. We have enough papers in front of us. So the idea of this is the one for the girl, is that this is going to go neatly inside of there. So all you have to do is put a picture right here and it will show right through, and this will be your frame. You can go ahead and if you have any pencil marks, you can just erase those. So this is where you should be, and I've got this one done, and this is the way this one will look. So for now, what I want you to do is just open this up, stick this up here, open this up, so this is what you should be looking at. This is your spine of your smaller folder. So I'm going to set this away. We're going to open this up. Grab your score tape and right on that spine, in between your two score lines, this should fit perfect. And make sure you press that down really good. We're going to clip off any exposed score tape. Okay, for the It's a Girl, it's going to be the same like for the It's a Boy. I'm going to remove my score tape. I'm going to make sure that I have this even there. And this is where what you're going to do is come down right in the middle of that wider spine, we can call it. Line up your top and then bring down the bottom. And you can see right in here if you are straight or not. A little bit off isn't going to hurt anything. Once you've done that, put it down. Take your finger and press it down really good. Okay? So what you're going to have is this. This opens, this opens, this opens, and that opens. And I'll do it again for this one. Now, make sure that you stay where you're supposed to be here so you don't get it upside down, making sure that this is all even. I'm going to grab this and I'm going to start at the top to make sure I stay even there. Press it down and make sure that's pressed really good. Perfect. Let's work on attaching attaching this, and we are going to have a reinforced thing, and it's going to be decorative. So in your reserves, you should find 2 pieces of 8.5 inch wide by 3 3/4 inch reserves. You need 2 of them. Measure over 7 inches and cut. Okay, I've got both mine cut at 7 inches. Measure over 2.5 inches and cut. Okay, you're going to need your Martha Stewart 1/2 inch punch for this, and you are going to want to punch wherever you stick this first piece in and punch across. This second piece you're going to want to line up. Do not double up your paper and punch at once. I have found that the Martha Stewart and any other punch for that matter, you'll ruin your punch. You might get it through this time, but you're going to weaken the springs and you could damage it. And these are too expensive to do that. So I'm just going to make sure that when I put mine in, I'm at the same point, and I'm going to punch along. And I'll do the same thing with this one. Make sure I'm lined up where the other one started, and keep punching. Here's what we're going to do. Make sure that you line up so you look correct if you put them both. We are going to glue 2 pieces together. So I'm going to apply my glue all over one, and then I'm going to carefully mount the other on top, keeping it the same. So let's do that. Okay. Once you have that, make sure your glue is completely dry in between the layers. So give it about a couple minutes there to all dry. Stick your piece on your scoreboard, and you'll want it's easier to score with this facing this way. So at 1 5/8, we're going to score. At 7/8 of an inch, you're going to want to score as well. Now make sure your score lines, and you're going to need your tool. You are going to try to keep this as straight as possible, and you'll want to use this tool for sure to get that crease going there. Keep it even. And then for the second one, I'm going to grab one of these. How this is going to work is this. We are going to first attach to this to the front. This does not attach to the back of this. This actually goes to our main page. So let me get this out of the way, and I'm going to show you. And because this is more difficult to get on there, we are going to use our glue. It's going to make it easier. So you are going to want to make sure you don't get on your crease there, but you're going to want to get close to it. Okay. So I got this like that. I'm going to slide this right on in on top of this one, making sure it's even and straight. Once I think I got it there straight, I'm going to open this up just a hair to make sure that I have that down. Okay, now let's grab this sheet. This sheet is going to slide right in that crease there, right in the back. Once you have this to where it is even, so this is what mine looks like, and the flap is back there. There is a lot of gap. So when we do this, we want to make sure it lays flat. And this is probably the best time for me is not to use my glue gun, but to use my glue for this. Make sure that gets on there. All right. So there's my crease. Here's my page. I'm going to slide it in there. to the back, making sure it's straight, and I am, as you can see. Make sure that's straight in on there. Once I have that, I'm going to hold this down with my fingers, and I'm going to press it down really good. That's probably the most difficult of all the fold outs, is this one, because it's so bulky and because it's so big. And then this, what happens is this just comes out like this. So there's more room. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to attach with a magnet a clasp here. So once you undo the clasp, then this whole thing will come and separate so you can do stuff. And we still have one more piece to lay here before we're done. Okay, open this up once yours is dried. And what we're going to do is over here. In your reserves, you will find these strips. Here's the one for the blue. On the back it's yellow. Here's the one for the pink. And it's the green. Let's grab a piece of white reserved cardstock from our scrap. In your reserves, grab a piece of cardstock 3 3/4 of an inch wide, and it's 8.5 inches long. We're going to cut this down, measure over 2 inches, and cut. With your Martha Stewart 1/2 inch punch, we are going to punch along this side and then the long side under here. Okay, next thing is apply glue to the back of this piece and just place it right in between there and center it from side to side. Grab your piece and you're going to bring where the top corner of this is up here and like that. So it's a deeper pocket. So this is laying so the top right hand corner is even with the paper over here. This bottom one, just angle it over like that. Once you find the spot that you like, pinch the side here so it wraps back behind like that. Hold it, whoops, flip it over. If you feel it move, then you'll want to redo that. And I'm just going to tack it down really quickly with some hot glue. I'm going to do the same thing under here. I'm going to pinch it, making sure I don't crease or bend that page. It should wrap around. It's nice and thick, but it should be fine. And you're going to want to try to get this as tight as possible, but yet not to bow. So kind of look and see there. Like that. You want to still be able to get something in there. So I got mine. Make sure that that's pulled tight. And I'm going to tack that down. So that is what you should have. Let's get a couple magnets here out to the side. Now, in your scraps, when we were cutting the white cardstock and we trimmed it down to 2 inch, you should have had a piece like this. Go ahead and fold this in half. And divide them so you have 2 pieces. Glue these 2 together. Grab your scoreboard. Place it there, and we're about 3.5 inches across. Okay, at 2.5 inches, I'm going to have you score. That one's for my It's a Girl, and this one's for my It's a Boy. And let's fold. All right, grab one of your magnets, and you are going to glue it. Looking at it right here, here's my score line over here. Just place it right here. While that glue is drying, we're going to grab some paper that's going to match in here. In your reserves, you will find these 2 long strips If you're using the It's a Girl, you'll find this one. It's the pink with white polka dots. The It's a Boy, it's the blue with white polka dots. Okay, so all we're going to do is, looking at it like this, measure over 2, I just had the number, 2 1/4 inches and cut. I'll stick this off to the side. We're not quite done with that yet. Okay, all you're going to do now is place this down, and the magnet is facing you. Place that down, and you're not going to be on that crease anywhere. Take your pencil, make a mark, and trim that to fit. Let's go ahead and apply glue. Make sure you get around that magnet with glue. And center and glue that down. With that piece that we just set off to the side, we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to measure over 2 1/4 inches and cut. These can go back in our reserves. Let's flip these over. So looking at it like this, just going to put that right here. I'm going to measure how much I need, and I'm going to cut. Apply glue. And mount it. And if you're working on the It's a Boy, you'll do the same thing. Okay, let's attach these before we put our other magnets on, the mates. So all you're going to do is bend this, slide that over like so, pinch it, add a little glue. Okay, the mate to the magnet under here. What you are going to do is just place that right like that. Place a dot in the middle of glue. Make sure that this is even where you want it. Bring that over, press down, and you should have a glue mark where that touched down. That's going to tell you where you need to glue your magnet down. And before I flip this back over, I'm going to make sure that I cover this, because these are so strong that they will lift up. Let me grab the mate to this one, and I'll do it again. Let's get into our die cuts. If you are using the It's a Boy, in your die cuts, you will grab the blue hand, the blue baby foot, a blue octagon piece, and then the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, Do You Know How Loved You Are. For the It's a Girl, you're going to find the pink foot, the pink hand, you will find a pink octagon, and you will find the Twinkle Twinkle as well. You're going to grab some glue here, put it on the octagon, and you're just going to place this right like this. Do the same over here. I'm going to do both as I go. This is proving to be more difficult than I thought. I'm trying to keep my head out of it and keep everything straight. Okay, the pink foot, the blue foot, we're just going to stick it up like this, so it slightly comes over the edge, but not much to cover any picture. So I'm going to put some glue here and place that down, making sure that that gets down good. If you have any glue that is seeping from the back side, you'll want to make sure that you get that up. Okay, let's try it. That should hold it, and that looks cute. Okay, let's get our other pieces in. Let's go ahead and flip. Flip open. Here's the It's a Girl. We're just going to put some glue down. Put the hand. And for the It's a Boy, we'll place the hand right there. The Twinkle Twinkle, this is where you're going to want to grab a piece of cardstock. And I'm going to flip this open. You're going to put something back in behind here. So I think you can see mostly. There we go. The back page of It's a Boy's here and the back page of It's a Girl's here. This is going to be centered right at an angle like this. So I'm just going to put some glue right here and some on that trim, and I'm going to press it down. Now the reason we use the cardstock is because it catches the glue so that it doesn't get on our page. And there is our It's a Boy. That page. I'll do it over here. Just going to add a little glue down in the middle here and on the trim. Press it down really good. And then I'm going to make sure I grab at my scrap piece. This page is complete, and that was a lot of work for us. Our next page is not as intense. Let's go ahead and we're going to flip these over. I got something back here. Looks like, oh, piece of hot glue back there. Okay, here we go. Let's grab our score tape. Now this is a very heavy page. We're not going to mount this yet. We are going to get our score tape on the back. We will mount this when we mount page 2 because we want to make sure that the pages will line up. And it's easier to mount page 2 than go back to page 1. And then we don't have to worry about that with the rest of the pages. Alright, so all I'm doing here is I am going around the edge like a picture frame. And again, since this page is very heavy, we're going to make sure we have the score tape where it needs to be. We are going to add an extra row to the sides. You're going to add one down the middle. And then we're going to do 2 shorter ones here on either side of that middle one. So yours should look like this. Okay, stick your page off to the side. We're going to start on page 2. Page 2. Okay, what we got going on here is a decorative pocket and some embellishments. Let's grab a piece of cardstock, measure over 4 inches, and cut. Stick the larger piece in your scrap reserves. Okay, I am using the Spellbinders die. It's the A2 Scallop Borders 3 S5214. If you have one that's similar to this, if you don't have this exact one, grab it. So I am using this one, and then of course the top one. So all I'm going to do is place this down. I'm going to put this top one down first. Whoops, there we go. Making sure I'm even from side to side in here. And I'm just going to run that through my die cutter. For those of you with the Martha Stewart punches, you want to use your deep edge punch for this. So this is what you should have after you die cut. And what you're going to do is come in from the side all the way to the top edge to release this top part. Let's grab our score tape. And we're going to line it at the bottom of our page. making sure that we press down really good. Okay, remove the backing. Center this as best you can. And now we're just going to wrap our flaps around the back and tack them down. In your reserves for the It's a Girl, grab this square sheet. It's the pink with white polka dots. If you're working with It's a Boy, it's the blue with white polka dots. So this is what we're going to do, is we're just going to set this up and bring it right up underneath that hump here of your die. If you're straight across die, you're just going to bring it up right underneath that trim. So I'm going to move mine up here. I'm going to make a mark with a pencil, and I'm going to trim. So let's do that. Those of you that are using this die, the same as me, you will find a bracket like this. So what you're going to do is just place that right up at the top and center it and run that through your die cutter. Go ahead and cut in from the side, bring it up. You will be a little bit short on the bottom, but that is what this is for. Okay, so I'm going to do that with this. Now we do have to trim on the sides to fit all of us. Okay, so all we're going to do is center this where it's supposed to be, make a mark with our pencils, and trim. Let's apply glue and glue that down. And then what you'll do for this is apply glue and glue that down as well. And you will have a little bit of white showing on the bottom. This is what you should have. Those of you that use the Martha Stewart, if you want to cut a sliver off of that blue polka dot to do at the bottom as well, you can. You don't have to. Okay, for the It's a Boy, in your die cuts, get this. We're going to add this back to page 1. For this page, first we had each other. When we had you, now we have everything. The rocking horse, and the little block that has the star. For the It's a Girl, same thing. There is a pink banner. That's going to go back on page 1. There is the pink version of this, the block with the heart in it, and the rocking horse. Okay, let's grab our glue. We are going to, on the back side of this and down under here, we are going to put glue, only on those sides. And you're going to put it slightly at an angle, like so. And that way we can still slide something in and out from behind there. Okay, the heart goes down here in the corner. The rocking horse, you're only going to put enough glue that hits onto this. So, for instance, I'm just going to put some glue here, a little on his head, and his front leg. This is a good time to slide your scrap piece paper back behind, and we're just going to put him right here so you can still see everything. So you can still get stuff back behind there. It's a Boy, we're going to do the same thing. Back behind one side, and put this off at an angle. Ooh, my daughter is sick. I can hear her sneezing in the background. Okay. and the rocking horse, just behind his head, front leg, and down partially underneath here. And we are going to put him right here. And I should be sliding something in behind here to be safe. Okay, all right, you will want, I dug cut some more of the flowers. You'll want one large pink with the yellow center and one blue. Let's go ahead and add our flowers. And I'm just going to stick that right down there. And this one just goes right here. Okay, flip these over. We're going to apply score tape around the outside like a picture frame, one down the middle and two short ones on either side. And I'll show you what mine looks like. Okay, it's a girl, it's a boy. This is what it looks like on the back. Let's grab our book. I'm going to grab the It's a Girl first. I'm going to stick this off to the side. First thing that we're going to do is grab a piece of paper out of your scrap. I'm just going to use this one. It's from It's a Boy, but it makes no difference. Grab from It's a Girl. Place it back behind so you can see where the edge of your page 2, page 1, page 2, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. It's kind of like a book when I do this, so with the pages. So just stick one there so you can see the outline. What I'm going to do is remove the score tape. And the best way is that you should have 1/8 of an inch of white border of your page showing on each page. So I am going to remove my score tape and show you really quick, and I will mount for the other page as well. Where is my craft knife? Oh, Lord have mercy. I have done something with it, so I will take it off this way. It's probably sitting right in front of my face here, and you're probably looking at it, and I'm not seeing it, so that's what usually happens. Okay, so I'm going to watch to make sure I am nowhere near the edge where that crease is, because we came right up to the edge. So I'm just going to start by looking at this, giving myself about 1/8 of an inch and 1/8 of an inch up here. If you're off a little, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. And I'm going to get that down, and then I'm going to press the rest, making sure I press down around the edges really good. Okay, page 1. This is why I say put page 2 in first, because now it's easier to line up. This is larger than our inner sheets, so now it's easier to line up the top of this with that, if that makes sense anyway. I'm going to remove the score tape. Okay, so I'm going to try and line up, and I'm going to look at that, and I am going to lean over here to try and do that. Right about there, I'd say. Hopefully. Oh, I'm a little high. There we go. Right about there, I'd say. Hopefully. So the idea is to try and keep this straight going across. So once you think you have it down, open this up and press it down really good. Okay? And there you have it. Now I'm going to grab the It's a Boy, and I'm going to do this one more time, because sometimes when you're new at this, it takes a couple tries. Removing the score tape from page 2 of It's the Boy. I'm going to grab this, stick it back behind so I can see where the edge is. And I'm going to look over here about 1/8 from the top and 1/8 in. Got a corner down, and I'm going to guide it down here now and press it down. Okay. I'm going to remove the score tape off this one now. Score tape is off. I'm going to line it up right there. And now I'm going to just watch it as I come down to try and make sure I stay even with it. Okay, now I'm going to open it up and press down really good. Before I forget, I had you pull these, and I've got my books open at this point. We're just going to place this right at the top here. So I'm going to add a little glue to the top here to this, and then I can see where else I need, and I do need at the edges here. And I'm going to stick it right like this. Now when you put it down, make sure that these do not, the little ends of this, do not go over the edge because it will snag up. One thing you're going to want to do is make sure that no glue seeps back behind here. And if you'd like, you can just kind of blot it. So there is that page. We're on page 3, and for It's a Boy, we are going to pull 2 of this sheet. On the back it's white. For the It's a Girl, it's the yellow, and it's white on the back. You'll pull 2. Now we're going to cut for page 3 and 4 all at once. So what we're going to do is measure over 7 inches and cut. The smaller pieces go in our reserves. Now all we're going to do is measure over 7 inches and cut. Alright. Smaller pieces go in our reserves. And it's definitely coffee time. Alright, one of these we're going to set off to the side away from our reserves. That is going to be for our page 4. In your reserves for It's a Girl, you should have this. And in the It's a Boy, you should have this. All we're going to do is take our scissors, and where the top of the fence is, we're going to cut around it. So I'll show you what I've got here. Just going to go like this. Let's stick these in our reserves. Okay, for the It's a Girl, place this all the way down on your sheet. Take your pencil, make a mark at the side, and trim. For the It's a Boy, you're going to do the same thing. Bring this all the way down, matching up. Make a mark right there, and trim. So this is what you should have if you have the It's a Girl. Yours will look like this. If you have the It's a Boy, yours will look like this. Let's set these up there, out of the way. Grab a piece of cardstock, and all we're going to do is apply glue to the back of this, and we are to bring it all the way to the bottom of this white piece of cardstock and center it so you still have flaps on each side. So let's do that. And you'll do that for the It's a Boy as well, if you're working on the It's a Boy. I've got mine down here. So all we're going to do now is we're going to come in from the side, and we're going to leave about a 1/16 of an inch of white showing between our print and that, and we're just going to cut and follow it along. So let's do that, and I'll show you what mine looks like. Your scrap piece, put in your scrap pile for now. Let's get our score tape out, and we're going to mount this as a large pocket. Now this is a textured paper, so you want to make sure you get that score tape down really good at the bottom. Okay, let's remove the backing off the score tape and mount this bottom. and then we will wrap our flaps around the back and tack them down. Okay, make a bow with your ribbon, and we're just going to attach that right up here in the corner. There we go. Page 3 is complete. Flip these over, or flip yours over. We're going to do score tape around the outside, one down the middle, and 2 shorter ones on either side. And we can go ahead and mount that in our book. I've got these mounted. How cute is that? Let's move on to page 4. Page 4, let's grab those sheets that we set aside. Cut a piece of white cardstock that is 6 1/4 inches by 7 1/2 inches. Let's get our scoreboard out. We are 7 1/2 inches across the board. At 6 3/8 we're going to score. And at 6 5/8 we're going to score. Let's fold on our score lines, making sure they are even. Okay, go ahead and tuck your flap all the way back and underneath the right side of your page, just to get it out of our way. Okay, set that on up. Okay, in your reserves you will find this sheet. It's the pink on the back. It looks like this. For It's a Boy, it looks like this. We're going to go ahead and make a pocket. If you notice that this will fit nicely right on there. And that is true for this one as well. And you'll have a nice white border. In your reserves, look for a piece of cardstock that is 8 1/2 inches wide. We can cut that down, of course. And I found one that is 4 3/4 inch this way. And this is perfect because we can still cut it down if needed. So what you're going to want to do is we're going to, and I got one for each album here. In your ornate borders and pockets, we're going to use that same die that we used on the first page, which looks like this. We're going to set this down, making sure we're even from side to side and up through here. And we're going to run that through the die cutter. Those of you using the Martha Stewart punches, you'll use the deep edge punch and punch along the long side. For those of you die cutting, go ahead and set this on your paper cutter to cut from here up and from here down to keep your lines straight. You'll end up with something looking like this. Looking at your piece where your trim is off to the right side, measure over 1 inch and trim that down. This is what you will have. Let's go ahead and lay a piece of score tape at the bottom of our panel. We're going to mount a pocket like we always have done previously. Score tape at the bottom, remove the backing, and you're going to center this as best you can. And then we'll wrap our flaps around the back and tack those down. In your reserves, look for the long strip of pink and blue, the polka dots. If you flip it over, it will look like this. I'm not sure which way your rockabye baby is going on yours. One of mine is going across and one of mine looks like this, which is perfectly fine. So the first thing we're going to do is measure to fit. So lay it down on your trim there. If you are short, don't worry about it. You can stick a piece of ribbon going across. If you are perfect, you'll have no trimming to do. Me, I have just a little bit. So I'm going to make a mark here and make a mark here, and I'm going to trim. Let's go ahead and apply glue and glue these down. Once you have it glued down, let's go ahead and grab our fold out, making sure the flaps are off to the right and tuck them all back behind. We're going to apply glue to the back of this, and we are going to center this. So let's do that. Okay, I have mine glued down. Now the idea to this is to leave this space open to plant a large picture if you would like. I am going to add though a side pocket so that you can slide stuff in there. When you pull it out, you can still see a picture right here. So let's finish up this, and then we will add our side pocket here. Let's just flip this right on over. In your reserves, you should have a piece like this. It's the trimming off our base pages, and it's not the real long one, it's the shorter ones. Okay. Looking at them like this, let's measure over 6 inches and cut. Put your scrap pieces in reserves. Now, one thing you will notice when placing that down is that we are going to be a little short here. So this is one way to conserve and use, rather than pull a fresh sheet out of the book and measure over to fit. I'm going to show you a trick on making this work. So first thing what you do is grab a piece of cardstock like so. We are going to apply glue to the back of this, and you are just going to mount this. I just mount it to the whole thing. Usually I just do a strip, but let's go ahead and just mount that up to the upper corner like this. As we get going into the tutorial further, when you get more comfortable with the pockets and things that we're doing, then I'll start showing you some shortcuts, because I know I do have beginners doing these tutorials, and then I have those of you that have been following me from tutorial to tutorial that already know what's ahead. So looking at your paper now, let's just measure over 6 inches and cut. Now all you have to do is measure over 6 inches, which should be right here, and cut. So now what you've done is you've made a 6 by 6, and we've made up for that extra bit here. Cut a piece of cardstock that is 2 inches wide and 8.5 inches long. Grab your 1/2 inch Martha Stewart punch and punch along the long side. Grab your score tape, and we are going to place it on the right side of this panel. And I did find my craft knife. It was like right in front of me. And we're just going to bring this over to the edge, making sure we have flaps top and bottom. We're going to wrap this around the back and tack it down. Go ahead and flip these around so that the pocket's on this side. Okay, this is magnetic, so when this does come over here, there's going to be a magnet under here that catches. So what we want to first do is grab our panel. Let's flip it open. Let's grab a magnet and stick it right about here. Okay, remember flaps are off to the left right now, and we are going to have our pocket mount onto the left. So let's apply glue to the back of this and center this, making sure you're covering your magnet over there, and press that down really good. Okay, we can attach this right now. We do need to put a covering over this, but let's get this done. So all I'm going to do is, here's our inner score mark, here's our outer one. I'm going to pinch on the outer one. I'm going to then just slide that right there till it is even. Once I have it, you're going to pinch it, hold it. If you feel the paper slip, start over with aligning it. And I'm just going to tack that down. Okay. I'm going to do it over here one more time. Slide that in there. Pinch it. And add some glue to tack. After a while, you'll get quicker at it. Okay, so if you got yours on where it's crooked, let's say, because right now I can push it any way I want. This is how you can get it to line up so that it is straight. Grab your piece, flip it over, and let that magnet find its mate. Now, if it's finding its mate up high, you're going to pull that down until it is even, and the magnet will drag back behind. Once you have it where you want it to be, that's where you can now add your glue. Where'd that magnet go? There it is. And place it down. And let that dry. Don't open it back up yet. Once your glue has dried, you can open that back up because we have some work to do. I'll open this one up. And we're going to find our piece for right here. In your reserves, you will find these pieces here. Well, if you're working on It's a Girl, you'll find this. If you're working on It's a Boy, you will find this. Okay, so for the It's a Girl, you'll want to make so you can get that yellow in there. I think that'll look really nice. I'm just going to bring this up to try and center this. And then all I'm going to do is, once I think I'm pretty centered there, is I am going to make a mark down here where I need to be and up here. Okay, as far as how far to go, I'm just going to turn it around, bring that up, and make a mark. So I'm going to trim here, and then I'll trim it this way and this way. For the It's a Boy, you can either do it on this or that, but I would recommend doing it on this side. So I'm just going to kind of try and center this piece right in there. I'll make a mark with my pencil. Now I'm going to come down so I can see the edge. So we're going to trim here and then across up there. Okay, so I have chosen to put the polka dots at the top for the It's a Boy. I'm going to apply glue, and I'm going to glue that right on over that pocket. For the It's a Girl, the polka dots at the top, and I'm going to glue that right on down. So let's do that. So this is what yours should look like, depending on the album you're making. In the It's a Girl and It's a Boy die cuts, we're just going to glue that right on down here, making sure that the edge of this does not go past the edge of your paper. And we're just going to center that and glue it down. Mine are down. Okay, close your album up and cut a piece of ribbon if you haven't already done so, and glue that down on the front of your pocket there. Grab a piece of cardstock, measure over 2 inches, and cut. Using the Martha Stewart 1/2 inch punch, you're going to punch along one side. Let's open up our flaps, our fold out that is. Let's lay our score tape right at the edge of our page, making sure it's down really good. Remove the backing and let's mount our side pocket and wrap our flaps around the back and tack it down. In your reserves for It's a Boy, you will have this print, and in the It's a Girl, you will have this print. We are going to measure to fit, just in case we're all using a different die. All I'm going to do is set this down, and I'm going to mark it with a pencil where I need to trim. So let's do that. And for the It's a Boy, you will bring it off to, excuse me, this side to mark yours. And trim. Put your larger pieces in reserves. Okay, all you're going to do is lay your piece down and mark it and trim it to fit. Same on this one if you're working with It's a Girl. So let's do that. Let's apply our glue to the back of our pieces and mount it on the side pocket. In your paper packs, and It's a Boy, you are going to cut out the bear tag up here. And on the It's a Girl, you'll cut out the green bear tag here. Let's grab our Toffee Crunch and lightly ink around the edges. Okay, I like to back my tags. I think it looks really nice. So all I'm going to do at this point, whoops, is glue this down to a piece of white cardstock, giving me about a 1/16 of an inch of white border around. So let's cut that out. Let's go ahead and dab a little glue back behind there and put this off to the side. Make sure that the corner of your tag does not get near your inner score line. Prepare a pink flower and a blue flower. Okay, let's close that up. Prepare a couple blue flowers and a couple pink ones if you're using the It's a Girl. And all we're going to do here, put one there and one right there. Okay, this page is complete. Let's flip it on over. Apply score tape around the outside, one down the middle, two short ones on either side, and mount this in your book. This page is mounted, and this one's mounted too. Let's move on to page 5. Page 5 and 6 we're going to cut for together, but for the It's a Girl, you will pull 2 of these sheets. For the It's a Boy, you will pull 2 of these sheets, and both of them are blank or white on the back. So measure over 7 inches and cut. Okay, the smaller pieces are going to go in our reserves. Put these all together, measure over 7 inches and cut. Okay, so we're going to stick aside our page 5 or 6, excuse me, and we'll pull one of these for our page 6. We're going to pull one of these and stick it with page 6, and we're going to pull one of these and stick it with page 6. I'm just going to set that off to the side right now. Grab a piece of cardstock, measure over 6 inches, and cut. Using my Spellbinders die, I am going to grab this one. And all I'm going to do is center it on this page all the way to the top and run that through my die cutter. Those of you who are using Martha Stewart punches, you'll use the 1/2 inch punch for this. What you're going to want to do to release this is what we've done before, cut in from the sides, and you'll end up with something like this. For those of you that are using the Martha Stewart straight edge punch across, just hang on, hang tight. For those of us that just die cut this, in your die cut you'll find the single blade. What you're going to want to do is place this down evenly. Okay, this is how you're going to get this to line up evenly. This is a little trick that I've learned, is once I know that I have the same amount of overhang on each side, I just bring my plate up right underneath where that hump is to try and keep this lined up so that I know that when I do cut this, it's going to fit right up in there. So once you have that spot, just kind of hold on to it and run it on through the die cutter. Okay, you'll trim in from the sides to release that top. We're going to apply glue to the back of this, line it up underneath where it goes, and press that down really good. Those of you that did the die cut the same, you're just going to come and trim off this extra white down below. For those of you with the Martha Stewart straight edge, what you're going to do is go to the top, the tip of your trim, and you're going to measure down 5 1/4 inches and trim that so that we're all the same. We're going to mount this pocket. Whoops. I'm losing my mind, you guys. Okay, the bottom of your page, add your score tape. That wasn't completely wrong. In a moment you'll find out why, but okay, let's mount our pocket. Wrap our flaps around the back and tack it down. In your reserves, go ahead and grab a piece of white cardstock, and this is 8 1/2 inches this way, and you should have one that is about 5 inches this way. We're going to measure over 2 inches and cut. We're going to do the same exact thing that we did up here with that. If you're using the Martha Stewart 1/2 inch punch, you'll use the same 1/2 inch punch that you used up here. For us die cutters, I'm using the same plate. I'm going to center that and run it through the die cutter. After cutting in, this is what you should have. Let's mount this down to the bottom. Take off our backing. And I'm going to try and keep this even with how the top looks. Try, anyway. Wrap our flaps and tack it down. In your reserves, you will find this. On the back, it's the Rockabye Baby. All we're going to do is, the first thing that we need to do is make sure that this is 7 inches wide. I'm going to trim mine after I'm done die cutting. You can do yours then too. For those of you that have used the Martha Stewart 1/2 inch punch, hang tight. I'm just going to place my bracket right where I think that it needs to be to get that hump from this lined up. Now I'm going to run this through my die cutter. Okay, trying to keep us as a group all together. Everybody, what you'll want to do is place your piece down, and if you need to do some trimming on the sides, make your marks. Okay, now I'm going to move mine over so I can see how far I actually need to come down, and all I'm going to do is trim so that this will fit. So let's do that. Alright, let's apply glue and glue our pieces down. So the only thing we have to do is add our die cuts. So if you're using the It's a Boy, find the BOY blocks for boy and the handprint. For the It's a Girl, you'll find the handprint and the GIRL blocks. And all we're going to do with that is place the handprint down in the corner, and then we're just going to center BOY. Y. So let's do that and glue them down. Once you have yours glued down, let's flip this on over. We are done with page 5. Score tape around the outside, one down the middle, two short ones on either side, and we're going to mount that in our book. I've got mine in my book. Both of them I'm working on. Let's move on to page 6. We're on page 6, and I did have you set these aside for it, and we're still going to keep those out of the way for the time being. We have some work to do first on this. Grab a piece of cardstock, measure over 6 inches, and cut. For those of you using the deep edge Martha Stewart punches, you're going to punch across the shorter side there, which is 6 inches. Those of you that are using the Ornate Borders and Pockets die, we're going to get this die plate out right here. And we're also going to find the top bracket. It is important when we do this that we try to keep the measurements the same on each side and it even all around. So you may want to measure, make a mark with your pencil, and then we're going to run that through the die cutter. You'll cut in from the sides to make it even. Okay, from the tip of your trim, measure over 7.5 inches and cut. Grab your scoreboard, and you are going to score at 1 inches and 1 1/8 of an inch. And then we're going to go ahead and fold on our score lines. Tuck your flap all the way to the back. Now, one thing is if you use the Martha Stewart deep edge punch, you probably don't have to trim up any of the bottom. So just leave yours alone. We do have a pocket to install here still. Those of us that use the die, what we're going to do is move it to where we can just see a little bit of that white, like so. And we are also going to trim this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at mine like this so that I can see where the edge is, because we are going to have a white border around. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to make a mark, and I'm going to trim off this little bit. So let's placing yours down, you should now have a little bit of white and white showing up here. We also need to trim this from the side, giving ourselves a little bit of a white trim over here. So I'm going to make my mark and I'm going to trim. Check it before you do anything else. And this is what mine looks like. Those of you that were doing the It's a Boy, you will have done the same thing. I am all caught up for this other album I'm doing here. Let's go ahead and place that up there and work on our little pocket. Cut a 1.5 inch by 8 inch strip of white cardstock, and then we're going to use our 1/2 inch punch and punch along the long side. Let's grab our score tape and we are going to place it at the bottom of our panel here. And then we're going to mount our little pocket. Make sure your score tape is down really good. Let's center that and place it. Wrap our flaps around the back and tack that down. In your reserves, you should have a piece of pink and white polka dot, as well as for the It's a Boy, you'll have the blue. And we're just going to measure to fit. And let's see. My first cut is going to be the long way. And then my second cut will be to shorten it. So let's do that. Cut down first and then down that way. Put your leftover scrap pieces back in your reserves. We're going to glue this down now. So let's do that. Let's grab some of our thinner lace, measure it to fit across, and glue that down. Let's go ahead and grab this. Remember, we're going to tuck this all the way back behind so we don't accidentally get it on our score line. So we're just going to center that now and glue it down. Let's flip that on up. In your reserves, you should have this pink sheet, and for the It's Boy, you'll have this one. So we're just going to do the same thing we did before, is we are going to measure how much we need. There is no pocket, but you're going to make sure that you steer clear of that inner score mark there. That will mess you up if you glue this down to that. So I'm going to trim and trim, and I'll do the same with this one. Let's apply our glue, center it, and glue that down. Okay, got mine down. I'm just going to set this off to the side right now. Let's grab a piece of cardstock. Measure over 6 inches and cut. Okay, now let's measure over 5.5 inches and grab your scoreboard and place your paper so you have your 5.5 inches across. So at the 1/2 inch, you are going to score, and at the 5/8 inch, you are going to score. And then we'll fold. We are going to do a magnetic page. However, we'll be putting the magnet right here and then covering it when we're done. Your flaps should be at the bottom, and let's go ahead and tuck it back behind. In your paper packs for the It's a Girl, you will find this, and on the back it's the pink diagonal. In the It's a Boy, you will find this. On the back is the stripes. So looking at your paper, I want you to turn it like this. Okay, so it's looking like that. Measure over 5 7/8 of an inch and cut. Okay, so these go in our reserves for now. Now what I want you to do is flip it over. This is what we were looking at to make sure we had the same cuts and got the lines going the right way. Alright, I'm going to double mine up. Measure over 4 3/4 of an inch and that's cut. What you should have. Let's put our stuff in our reserves. All we are going to do is verify we fit before we add glue to this. If you place it down, you should have a little bit of a white border around, and if that's what you see, again, make sure your flaps are tucked back behind. Let's add our glue and glue it down. For It's a Boy, same thing. Double check to make sure you fit. You have a white border, and your stripes are going to be up and down like this. So let's glue those down. Okay, so once you have that glued down, flip it on over. In your reserves, you will find another one of these. We're going to do the same thing we did before, is we're going to leave ourselves a white border and nowhere near that inner score line. We're just going to measure to fit and trim these down. Okay, flaps are up at this time. Let's apply glue to the back of these, center, and mount these. Okay, so for these two pieces, if you have your flip down here, your flap down here and your flaps up here, flip this one up. Let's grab a magnet. Let's go ahead and add some glue. Place that right there, center. We are going to attach these now. We still have a fold out to do. So the first one is this. And all I'm going to do is attach it. I'm going to make sure I'm centered there. Pinch it. Whoops. mine moved. Definitely have to start over here. That's good. And it moved again. Ever have those days? Okay, pinch it. Now, apply some glue. There we go. And then I'm going to move that back up. Do it for this one as well. Okay. All right. The next thing is before we do any of the mates, put the mate to the magnet, we're going to slide this underneath and we are going to line it up so that it is even with the sides of this top fold out. So once you have it, pinch it, hold it. If it slides, you definitely are going to have to realign that. And now I'm just going to place it down like so. And I'm going to do that with this one too. Okay, flip this up. Let's grab the mate. Place the mate on the other one. Let's dab a little glue in the center there. And if you are not aligned up, this is a good time to do it so that when you do place it down, it is straight. I am going to press, and now I know where that mate needs to go. Right here in the middle. And again, we are covering these. And I'll do the same for this one. Okay, do not attempt to close this right now because your magnets will lift right back up. Die cuts, you are going to find the footprints. And we are going to apply glue to all over the back of this. And we're just going to glue that right on down. So let's do that. So this is what you should have. Let's move on up here. In the It's a Boy die cut, you are going to find this. We're going to apply glue and glue that right on down. In the It's a Girl, you're going to find this. And we're going to glue that right on down. So let's do that. After your glue has dried, we can go ahead and close it and set this off to the side for now. Cut a piece of cardstock that is 6 1/4 inches by 7 inches. Grab your scoreboard. We are 6 1/4 inches across. At the 1/2 inch, you are going to score. And at the 5/8 of an inch, you're going to score as well. And then we're going to fold on our fold lines. Okay, the flaps on this one we're going to have off to the right hand side. So let's tuck them all, the flap back behind all the way. This one's for the It's a Girl. And let's set that off to the side. In your paper pack, you should find this one for It's a Boy and this one for the It's a Girl. Measure over 5 3/8 of an inch and cut. Stick these off to the side. We're going to need them instead of going in our reserves. So this is what you should have, 5 3/8 across. Now measure over 6 7/8 of an inch and cut. These small squares will go in our reserves. Let's make sure that we are going to fit, giving us some white border, and we do. Cut a piece of cardstock. Look in your reserves first for what you can use. We want a piece that is 4 1/2 inches by 7 1/2 inches. If you are using Martha Stewart punches, you're going to use your deep edge punch and punch along the long side. For those of you that are die cutting along with me, we're going to use the curved borders too, or whatever you would like. And I am going to use this bracket as well as this one, which is what I used before. I gotta clean my die out, obviously. So we're just going to center this, placing our brackets, and run it through the die cutter. Okay, so you are going to cut in from the sides if you use this die. In your reserves, you will find this sheet. Alrighty, first thing I'm going to do is mount my pocket. So let's mount that first. Place our score tape down and tack our flaps down to the back. Okay, so we got our pieces here. If you are using the Martha Stewart, all you're going to do is place your piece up underneath your trim, and you're going to measure to fit and trim it to fit. Those of us that have used this die, you'll find the flat edge, and you're just going to bring that all the way to the top, center it, and run that through the die cutter. All we do now is bring this down. You should have enough room there. And let's make our marks and trim it to fit on these. Okay, let's apply glue and mount our pieces. Let's go ahead and apply glue to the back of this and mount this on our fold out. Remember, flaps are off to the right, tucked back behind. Okay, flip these on over. Your flaps are now off to the left. Okay, I had you stick these off to the side, I believe. Measure over 5 1/4 inches and cut. If you place this down, it will give you a nice white frame. Let's add glue and glue those down. In the very front of your paper pad, you will find a sticker sheet like this. On the It's a Girl, it's slightly different than It's a Boy. There will be some larger ones than this one. We're going to go after these bears, but I don't like to just use stickers straight on anything. I mount them to cardstock. They look cleaner, they look more finished. So the first thing I'm going to do on the It's a Girl is take the big bear. Now what I'm going to do is cut around the bear. And now for the It's a Boy, I'm going to grab this bear. And I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to cut around the bear. I'm then going to use my Toffee Crunch to ink around the edges after I've cut it out. I've got mine cut out and I've inked around the edges. For this, I'm going to just put glue right at the bottom so that if I want to go and slide something back behind, I can for a picture. And then the bear is layered over it. So I'm just going to get right down in here and add that. Okay, let's grab our pieces. All I'm going to do here is place that. And now this is 7 inches, remember. You're going to line this up with your paper. Once you have it lined up, you can pinch it and tack this down. Okay, so now you should snap. I'm going to do that one more time. Open this up. I've got glue all over me. And I'm going to line it up with the top and bottom of my main paper so I don't go up into the score lines of these fold-outs. Once I have it, I'm going to pinch it, flip it over, and I'm going to hold that down so it doesn't slide. If it slides, you definitely have to realign. Alright, let's see how I did. Perfect. This page is complete. Flip it over. Score tape around the outside, one down the middle, 2 short ones on either side, and mount that in your book. Okay, I've got mine mounted. It is time to move on to page 7, and it's time for me to have my coffee. We're going to cut for page 7 and 8. So this is, not sure if you can see this really well. It's time for me to change some of the lighting in here, that time of day. This is for the It's a Girl on the back, it's the pink. For the It's a Boy, it's the yellow. On the back, it's the blue. Measure over 7 inches and cut. Okay. The cuttings put in our reserve, the leftovers. Oops. All right. Measure over 7 inches and cut. Page 7 and 8 are identical. So I am going to do this all at once. So it will make it much quicker for you. These cuttings, flip them over. So what we got here is page 7, page 8, page 7, and page 8. These are going to get trimmed down. Matter of fact, let's take care of that now. Measure over 4 inches and cut. The small trimmings can go in our reserve. All right, I'm going to set these off to the side. Let's grab, if you're working on It's a Girl, you're going to need 1 sheet of cardstock. If you're working on It's a Boy, 1 sheet. So we're going to cut this in half. So measure over 5.5 inches and cut. And you'll do that for the It's a Boy. We will be trimming these down. Now I'm going to use the Martha Stewart 1/2 inch punch. For the It's a Girl and the It's a Boy, all I'm going to do is punch along the long side of these for each one of these pages. So let's do that. Okay. I'm grabbing the It's a Girl out. So if you're working on It's a Boy, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to grab both of your white pieces of cardstock here. I'm going to get this out of my face. You're going to apply glue to the back of each one of these. You're going to center it and bring it up right underneath the trim and mount those. Okay, all you need to do now is trim off the excess white on your pockets, here and here if you're working on It's a Boy. All we need to do now on the bottom of each one of our main pages is lay our score tape and mount our pockets. And I've got somebody out there with a power tool that's loud. Mount our pocket, wrap our flaps around the back and tack it down. So this is what you should have. Grab some of your lace, measure it to fit, and glue it down underneath each of our trim pieces. So this is what you should have so far, page 7 and 8, 7 and 8 for the It's a Girl and It's a Boy. I'm going to move this on up here. If you're working on It's a Girl, you are going to grab a piece of scrap cardstock, whatever size you want there, and on the sticker sheet, the large deer, so cute. And if you want to add glue to the back of the adhesive to make sure that it stays down, you can do that. And we are going to mount that right on the white cardstock. The next one that we're going to get is this one. I'm just going to place that down. We're going to grab the little doll there. Careful not to place that down. That's good for right now. Now, if you were working on It's a Boy, another piece of white cardstock, we're going to grab the stork up here, lay it down. We're going to grab this deer, and you're also going to grab the small deer. I want the bunny too, I think. Okay, so those are for the It's a Boy. So what we're going to do now is we are going to cut around the images of all of these, and we're going to ink around the edges lightly with the Toffee Crunch. So let's get our pieces ready. Let's add one more to the It's a Girl, and it's this one right here. All right, let's start cutting our stuff out. Okay, I got all my pieces ready. I'm going to lay out both of my It's a Girl on one side and my It's a Boy on the other. You'll want to prepare 2 bows for your It's a Boy and 2 bows for the It's a Girl. Once you've done that, let's go ahead and glue down the bows. And one is going to go right here. One right here. And we'll do the same for the It's a Girl. Oh, I think you can see that.
I put them all together there.
If you're working on the It's a Boy, let's grab the stork. We're going to apply glue to the back of this. And we are going to place that right here. And we're going to let that dry. On the It's a Girl, let's grab the large deer. We're going to apply glue to that. And we're going to just slip that right there. For the It's a Boy, what you're going to want to do is put glue on the right hand underneath the bunny. So just one side, like that. And we're going to stick that right there. You're going to grab the deer, and all you're going to do is get the leg parts. Right here in the corner. And glue that down right like that. The other deer on the It's a Boy is going to go right here. And I am just going to apply it down his back side here and down his leg. And we'll want to get under his front legs there too. Oops. I'm going to set these off to the side for a moment so I can bring this forward. On the other one of these, you're going to apply glue to the front of the girl on one side there. And you're going to layer the rocking horse right on top, like this. We're going to put glue along the bottom of the rocking horse and her, and to the side of her. So I've got glue here and here. And we're going to stick that off there. This, the tail, and underneath. can't get this all in there. I'm going to stack these. If you're working with the It's a Girl, you'll prepare 1 yellow and 2 pink flowers. For the It's a Boy, you'll do 1 yellow and 2 blue, or whatever you'd like. Let's go ahead and put these down. I'm going to get the yellow one here and just stick that right there. Grab a blue and the other blue. For the It's a Girl, it's going to go up here. Grab a flat back pearl, a smaller one if you have it, and we're going to stick that right in the center of the larger of the 3, or the smaller, whatever you used. Okay, these pages are complete. These are the ones that are going to be placed to the left, so that would be page 7, and these are the page 8. So let's flip them over, apply score tape like we have been around the edges, 1 down the middle, 2 shorter ones on either side on all of these, and mount these in our book. Okay, I've got mine in there, and then the It's a Girl. We're now moving on to page 9.